All right, I think we are now going to get back to it. Took a little break. Let's get this intake off. Did a little bit of reading about this head and block combination. So it's the F54 block and the P90 head from a 280ZX. So I won't know if this is the turboed version, which it shouldn't be, until I get the head off and look at the pistons. The dished pistons were for the turboed and the flat tops were the naturally aspirated. I don't know how these people, what they were really thinking with most of the things they've done with this this engine build. So we'll see if they just slap together whatever engine they really had in mind. I am going to have to disconnect this. Pretty sure this is an EGR line right here. So it looks like this one's a 22, this one's a 24. Didn't take too much. Let's hope our luck doesn't run out. There we go. Disconnected. Nice. All right, let's pull out. Actually, the fuel rail is connected to, there's a bracket that connects it to the intake manifold, so I'm going to loosen that one real quick. Looks to be. All right, finally, after lots of fun angles to get these fasteners off, well, maybe, I think I'm good to pull this exhaust manifold, or intake manifold off. Hey, there we go. Look at that. Oh, we're dripping. Let's get that out of the way as well. I think I'm going to soak the exhaust manifold even longer. Just trying to be as cautious as possible, but I think I'm going to flip this thing upright. We'll get all these spark plug wires out of the way, take care of a couple more things on the other side, and pop that valve cover off. So as I was sitting here before I was about to flip the engine over, I just started bumping these a little bit with the impact, and I think I might be fine to pull these off. I was able to knock most of them loose without any real, where's my magnet? There it is. Any real resistance. Well, I will count this as a win. The exhaust manifold is off, and all the studs are there. Well, none of them are broken off in there. That's pretty fantastic. This engine is slowly going from, well, one piece to many on my bench and floor, but that's pretty good news. Wow. Hey, you gotta take those little victories. Well, it is another day, and we're gonna get back to it. So today I'm gonna try to work on getting everything out the front of the engine, the harmonic balancer, water pump, timing cover, the oil pump, the distributor, all to get the head off. So we can get the timing chain out of the way and pull this head off, and I can take it to a shop. We can have that machined and go from there. So I think first off, we're gonna get this harmonic balancer off. And not quite sure what that size is. I was rotating the engine. Let's see, it's a 27. Make sure this guy is full power. All right. Oh yeah. That came off real easy. But now, let's see if we're gonna need a puller, or if this guy's gonna come off. All right, I've gotten this to wiggle a little bit. I think I'm just about there, just by hand. All right. Here we go. Harmonic balancer is off. Gonna thread the crank bolt back in just for now. Actually, I'm not, because that seal will hit the washer on that. I don't think you can hear that, but that water pump is definitely on its way out. Well, time to pull that off. Looks like it's going to be a 10 millimeter and a 12 millimeter. I'll crack them first. We'll run them out. I know these are prone to snapping off, so I'm going to be a little bit gentle. All right, we got movement on that one. Back in, try to loosen these threads up. All right, that one's loose too. That one wasn't even tight. We're going to switch to the 12 millimeter. There's two of those. That one's good. So is that one. All right, we can run these out now. Start with the 212s. And this is what I mean. They get really corroded if it focuses. If it focuses. There we go. Yeah, they become really corroded and weak. You see right there. Oh yeah, that one especially. Like we got lucky with that. I might have to buy, well, I definitely will buy some more of these because I don't think those should be reinstalled on the car. All right, now the 3 10 millimeters. There's one. Oh, I thought that one had broken off. Actually, I thought this one had just broken, but it looks... I'm not sure if this one is supposed to be longer. I'm not sure if maybe it broke off previously and someone cut that fastener down to that size. We're going to find out. All right, last one. Well, that one's about the same size as well, so I'll have to look online and check out the kits to see how big they are or how long they should be. All right, that is all. Oh, just came right off. Let's see if you can hear that. Yeah, it's done. All right, I think now we're going to pull off the distributor. So we've just got 210s. 210s? Yes. See if we can knock these loose. Some bolt this last one as well. Oh. That one is a bit tight. I'm going to hit that with some penetrating oil. Tighten it up a little bit. Just break up any debris in those threads. All right, now it's moving. Okay. Distributor is out. I'll put this one right back where it was. All right, well, here is another timing cover. And you can tell so we've got the oil pan bolts actually hold it on at the bottom. 2 bolts from the head on top. And then just a bunch around the perimeter of it. It's, I remember the first one I took off, I did not see the ones here on the top of the head, right there and beside it. And I'm really lucky I didn't break them off back then, but I was definitely fighting it. But yeah, so we're gonna pull off this mechanical fuel pump. Just get that out of our way. That's gonna be a 12. Well, these bolts are so covered in oil, they're just coming right off. That is nice. You can see it's one gunked up engine. I think it was leaking from every gasket and seal it possibly could have. I was incorrect. There are 3 12s. There's one hiding under here, completely caked in oil. That should be all of them. Let's give this guy a little tap. Still got some washers on there. There we go. All right, got that guy out. I did have to pry on it just a little bit, but I was actually able to get a good hold on it without marring up any of the surfaces, the mating surfaces. All right, now to the thermostat housing. 2 12s. Again, I'm going to be gentle with these ones at first. Just don't want to break them off. These ones are really on here. I'm going to come back to those ones. Might bump them with the impact a little bit, see if we can knock them loose. But I really don't want to break anything off in the head. We got super lucky with the exhaust manifold and the intake manifold, so don't want to jinx it right now. Now to the timing cover. I'm going to start with those 2 tins I was talking about up on top. They go through the head and then straight into the cover. I'm just knocking everything loose right now that I can with this tin. All right, gonna come through the 12 now. Oh. There is one hiding behind this oil pump, so I'm going to go ahead and just take that off right now. All right, let's knock this loose and not bump the camera. Right, are we going to make a mess? Not really. Nice. All right, oil pumps out. I'm not sure if there's a rebuild kit for these or if I'm just going to pick another one up. This is you can see right there, it's the original Hitachi unit. So who knows if this was ever replaced or rebuilt, if that's the case. And you can't see right here, but there was another 10mm hiding behind the oil pump for the cover. All right, I think we're going to come around and start knocking all these loose. Well, now they're loose. We're just going to go ahead and try to pull this cover. Okay, as for 12s, there's a couple. Gonna switch over to a 10. Oh, that one was a 12. Missed that. And that just knocked loose, if you saw that there. There's this spacer right here. And it just goes between one of those bolts and this. Just fills up the space there between them. So I think that was all the 12s. We're going to find out real quick. Many different lengths of fastener here, many. So there are guides online, things like that, that will show you exactly which ones were which. I believe I have a factory service manual for a 73 240Z, and they're all the same as far as I'm aware. So that's also a good reference point. I'm pretty sure those are available places for download. I was lucky enough to come across a original at a yard sale a few years back. Okay, so I've got one more 12 holding it here. I'm going to drop, I think I put one here down the oil pan. To make sure these go back with all the oil pan bolts. And I'm probably missing one. We're going to hit this 12 and see if this is the last one. All right, after poking around a little bit, I finally got this guy moving. There's a few locating dowels on it, alignment dowels. And because the head's on it, I think it's just applying a little bit of pressure, so it's just in there. All right, I think we're about to pull this guy off. That's one side. There we go. Oh, goodness. Well, let's get that guy out of the way. Take a look at this timing chain. I can't see the guides in completely yet. We'll see how bad they are. All right, these are all moving nice and freely. So the crank, when it comes time to pull the crank out of the block, it should come out nice and easy. That's good news. Last few bolts holding on the valve cover. Let's come around and see if we missed any. Yes. All right, what are we going to find? Oh, goodness. God. Wow. That is a dirty engine. There's not necessarily like buildup of gunk, but the oil is just, it's baked on, varnished to everything. I wonder if they ever did any adjustments to the valves. This does come off pretty easily, so that's nice. But I mean, I'm going to take it to a shop and have the work done on the head. Just have it machined because, well, I'm just going to assume it needs it. We got it. Look at that. That was a close one. Maybe. And this one I loosened by hand a little bit. All right. Huh. That's interesting. There's no thermostat. There. Well, let's I'll pop the top of this off real quick. Well, I want to soak those ones first. But yeah, there should definitely be a thermostat in there, and there's not. All right. You know, I don't. This whoever owned this, worked on it, it just keeps making less and less sense. Man. All right, back to it. Well, we got everything off the other side of the engine. Let's finish up with this one here. Take off the oil pressure switch. All right, we got a good grab on it now. There we go. All right, that one came off by hand. I'll use an impact for the other two. There are 3/14s, one nut, 2 bolts on this alternator bracket. We've got this guy right here. It needs to come off. The machine shop usually wants everything off. I think that's going to be a 22 or a 23. It's going to be a 22. Oh, man. Oh. Might need some heat for this one. You don't forget the heat. We're going to try it with the impact. I think I can get a good grab on that. There we go. Just like that. Now we're going to pull this timing chain off. Glove up. Pull the tensioner off. I've already pulled the bolt off the crankshaft or the camshaft, so the sprocket will be able to come right out. Ooh, almost got that one. Gonna hold both sides of it as I'm pulling it out. That spring's gonna want to pop out. See, just like that. If you don't do that, it'll launch this guy. Launch all that. We're gonna put this to the side. Right there. And I think I will have to pull these. I don't remember, but I believe I have to pull off these guides. We're just gonna wobble the crank off, or the camshaft pulley off. See if we can get it off without that. Without taking those off yet. Oh, I'm going to back the crank bolt off. I don't have enough clearance. All right. One more thing off. I did notice something strange when I pulled off the camshaft, the bolt that holds the sprocket on. And that's, so this right here, it's offset on purpose. So each time the camshaft rotates, it hits the mechanical fuel pump. But as you'll notice, this is a fuel pump. You've got that pretty normal wear right there. But there's this wear on the side of this washer that's welded onto this. So it looks like it was just, I don't know what would cause, like if this play here is normal, I need to look into that. But it looks like it was not riding evenly and making contact right there and wore all that metal away. Just like this, just cross that each time. So I do need to find out what caused that. But that's just something, another fun thing got to notice. These guides are coming off now. go. All right, now we're coming to something I have not been dreading, but just, not looking forward to. Removing the head on an L24 that I pulled out of my 240Z years ago. I broke a head bolt off in it. It wasn't fun. I've pulled many since then, but, just left a bad taste in the mouth. So something I'm going to do this time that I haven't done is I've seen people talk about it, old timers. A little trick is to just give a tap to each bolt, and it's supposed to relieve some of the torque on them. I'm not really sure, but we're just going to give it a try. So, got this guy, trusty hammer. We're going to go around and just give each one of these a nice solid tap. All right. Now if that's done, let's throw on some gloves and let's get this head off. No broken bolts this time. So I've got a breaker bar, a 10mm on the end of it, and we're going to go around and see what we can do. Well, the camera keeps cutting out, so we'll see how much of this we got. We're getting good and grubby on this one. All right, the last 4 to pull. I'm going to set a couple just back in there, just so this head doesn't slide right off the block. We should be fine, but. Now we're going to clean up the table, get cleaned up ourselves, and get this head ready to come off and get on the bench. All right, let's get this head off. So I'd put in a couple bolts in here just to hold it, a couple of the head bolts just to make sure it stayed on here. All right, get a good grab on it. There it goes. All right, first look inside here. Definitely dirty. I'm gonna zip that crank bolt in, rotate the crank, and kind of see what these cylinder walls are looking like. Now that we have the head off the block, I want to start stripping it down, getting it ready to take to the machine shop, hopefully tomorrow. So I need to pull the cam out, cam towers, rocker arms, adjustment screws, and I'm gonna pull the valves as well, just because I want to clean those up myself. And when I get the head back, I'm gonna lap them and make sure this thing's ready to go. So to start, we're gonna take these springs here, these lash springs, mousetrap springs, as some of the literature out there calls them. And we just lift up, pull toward us, and they unhook just like that. So I started with that one just because it was close to the camera, but I'm gonna come over here. All right, we've got all of those out. All right, now that we've got all these lash springs off, we need to pull the rocker arms off. And I just did one just to get a feel for it real quick. So we need to loosen this jam nut, run this all the way down, and then we will, here, let's find a loose one. I'm gonna rotate the cam to loosen that up. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna take my 17, put it on the jam nut, hold the side of the head, and pull until it loosens. It's on there pretty good. All right, that's loose. So we're gonna spin this up, and then I'm gonna grab my 14 and just run this down. Now the lock nut is loose, I can freely turn this. All right, we're just about there. We're there. So you're given just enough room to like, or almost enough room to pop this rocker arm off. Like you're just there. So what you want to do is you got to be careful here. You take a screwdriver, you're placing it on top of the valve spring. And what you're going to do is you're just going to apply pressure. You don't want to put the arm of the screwdriver anywhere near the actual machined bits. And the center here is just fine. We're going to push down on it. You're not going to be able to see from there. Here, let's see if I can do it from this side. I'm left-handed, so this is going to be a bit awkward. So I'm going to depress the valve, and we're going to try to slip this rocker arm right out of the way. So almost there. There we go. I got it off there. Now it slides right out. So now I'm going to do that quite a few more times, and then we can pull the cam out. There we go. So now I can pull this cam out and pull these cam towers off. Good progress. Good progress. So toward the front of the head, we're going to have two 10mm bolts, and these hold in a retainer that holds the cam in place, or doesn't allow it to come forward. So we just pull this guy off right here. All right, and now that will allow the cam, being as careful as possible, to slide out. One more. Don't want to force anything, just want it to slide out. There we are. The cam is out. I'm now going to use a small punch just to make a mark on each one of these towers just to identify it when it comes time for reassembly. Just gonna mark right in the foot here. All right, and what I did was, you can see there 1 dot, 2 dots, 3, and so on for the other ones. Shouldn't be a problem, but this way I won't have to think about it. I'll just know exactly which ones go where. Well, the first one's pretty obvious, but. All right. All right, today, it's been a couple weeks since I've had a chance to get out here, but you know, we're finally at it. Today, I'm gonna pop off this oil pan. I've already popped it off once just to take a look at it, and I've only got a couple bolts in there holding it together. But we're gonna take this off, get some tools for it. These are just 10mm. And I think I wanna get this crank out of here today, inspect everything, get it ready for new bearings. Won't have to fight it to get it off. Already did that. I did hit this just a little bit with a wire wheel just to see, you know, how much of a pain it's going to be to get this thing clean and all nice and painted up. We'll set that off to the side. I think we'll start with getting this pickup out of the way. All right. We got that. And this pickup is surprisingly clean for the neglect I've seen with this engine. If you look here, like there's a little bit of sludge, but nothing crazy. That was a pleasant surprise, unlike most we've gotten with this engine. All right, so I'm gonna grab I think it's a 27mm, and we'll be able to rotate this crank around to take each one of these caps off. Looks like we're ready to start pulling these. We're going to rotate. I'm going to start from the back. Get that guy wrap here. These are 14s. All right, we've got all the pistons out. Now I want to work on getting all these caps out here for the crankshaft. So just got a breaker bar here and a 17 millimeter. And I'm just going to loosen them up, and then I'm going to come in here with an impact and zip them out. Oh, it looks like some of this gasket material is in the way. Peel that back. Just not letting the socket get a good grab on that fastener. Actually, in this one, I think the casting, yeah, a bit too of a thick wall socket for this. So I'm just going to grab a regular 17. All right, now we're down to just these two caps here, the one with the thrust bearings in it and the rear. With this one here, you can take, I believe this is one of the bolts from the timing cover. This is just in a bin of old ones. I think it's from my 240. We screw that down. There's a threaded hole here for it. And I don't have a good piece of wood for this, so I'm just using an old steel brush and a pry bar. And let me find, here it is. So I'm going to thread these in just a little bit, just so this doesn't pop off all violently and go across the room. We're just going to use this piece of wood so we don't mar up the surface of the block here, and pry against this bolt. And we're just going to push down. I'm holding on. There's a water outlet over here I can hold on to for leverage. And we're just going to push. There it is. Make sure not to lose those. There we go. That is out. That pry bar. Again, this is not a graceful technique. It just happens to work without having the proper service tool, which I'm not sure if these even made by anyone. I assume they might, but all right, just about there. Now maybe I can reach in there and just manhandle it out. There we are. We got it. The bearing stayed down there. We'll pull that out. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching the episode. I'm still playing around with formatting and kind of learning this as I go. So, if you like the content, give it a like. That's as much as I can say. I've got a lot more coming. We've already made some more headway. More videos to come. And as far as the formatting goes, I'm going to dial it in, try to work on that, make things more concise and straight to the point, and just try to get some better content out. But thank you very much.